Hello there, everybody. I hope you are doing well. I'm Afefe with Touch by Tarot and Beyond. I am going to do a political reading today, checking in with you on this Friday, March 7th. So much happening day by day. Happy to get on here and do readings for you all. Try to give you the best content that I can, my perspective. If you're new to my channel, I am a certified tarot reader. Been doing it for years. But I'm also a former newspaper journalist. So that kind of gives you an idea of how I approach my readings, try and get my facts straight, try and do as much research as I can on different topics before I go to Spirit and try to get a little more clarity and some insight to share with you all on what's happening. And every day something else is happening. To my existing subscribers, thank you so very much for being here with me, and my members, like triple that, right? I really appreciate your support. All right, you all, gonna try and jump right in, keep this short and sweet. Couple of things really interesting that are happening. One, I want to this new, apparently F47, I call him that. Many of you give me a hard time on that because you're like, not doing 47, don't care. 45 it is, but just pay attention to the F, you all. My guides keep saying deal in the present moment with what we're dealing with. So, where we are in terms of the 47th president, but pay attention to that F. And that F is very deliberate, whether you want to call that F felon, whether you want to call that F fake, or false, whether you want to call that F, okay, however that is. So just hang on to that rather than get rattled by the 47. All right. So F47 has told DOGE / Muskrat, you're going to have to take a back seat, dude. This is getting way too hot. The lawsuits are multiplying. He's getting named in those lawsuits, Muskrat or DOGE, getting named in those lawsuits. So now F47 has put this edict out to his so supremely qualified cabinet, right? They are nervous, and we're going to go to Spirit and take a look at the cabinet in total, not singling anybody out at this point, but they have been given the directive, look, you're going to have to take over and deal with these job cuts and what have you, because there's too much heat coming down on my boy, right? My boy, meantime, Muskrat, is not accustomed to being sidelined or told to sit back and chill. He's accustomed to, and he's gotten drunk on what he perceives as his power in this moment with that chainsaw waving. Every time you look up, everywhere you see F47, you see him. It's not going to go well. I want to take a look at that. The relationship between them, Spirit has said for a while now, is going to deteriorate. We know how F47 operates. You are only valuable for as long as you're valuable. So that is in motion, you all. We're starting to see that evolve. And so I want to take a look at the cabinet, how they're going to respond to this, and how tensions are going to continue to develop between them, the cabinet, F47 and Muskrat. Going to take a look at that. Other thing I want to take a look at today is this Ukraine minerals deal. All right. So now apparently everybody's headed to, I think, Saudi Arabia next week to try and press forward. Zelensky has said that's fine. If that's what we got to do, I'm perfectly willing to come back to the table and sign the deal. However, we're also learning that in Putin's camp, people are very upset about that. His folks are like, we ain't dealing with the United States. The United States is not going to go to Ukraine and take over the minerals. They're not going to do the mining. If they send people there to do mining, should this agreement go forward, we're not doing that. From what I understand, about 40% of where these minerals are concentrated, heavily concentrated in Ukraine, you all, this is territory that, at this point at least, Russia has taken over, eastern part of Ukraine. If I'm not mistaken, you tell me if I am, but that's what I've gotten in my research. So the point with that is, if these are territories that we've already heard that in order for a deal to go through, Zelensky, Ukraine are probably going to have to cede a certain amount of land that has already been taken over by Russia during this 3-year war. But if that is where the majority or this big chunk of the minerals lie, what makes anybody think that, Putin et al. Are going to sit back and let F47 send some folks over and start mining for the benefit of the United States? Really? All right, we're going to take a look at that. And the last thing, Doug Ford out of Ontario has said you can put a hold on this tariff war if you want to for another month. Apparently, F-47 has come out, you've heard, and said as it relates to Mexico and Canada, okay, we'll pump brakes for another month and see what happens. But Doug Ford out of Ontario said, so sorry, we're standing our ground. And so 3 states run by Democratic governors are supposed to be impacted in regards to their electricity, the electricity that is furnished by Canada to Minnesota. Tim Walz, right? Our guy Tim Walz is in the hot seat. Kathy Hochul already been in the hot seat lately. New York is being impacted by this, and Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. What are these Democratic governors going to do? We know that in general, the blue states, or those whether they have Democratic governors, but they may have, in fact, those states may have gone for F-47. But we've heard that there's been this sort of collaboration and this gathering of Democratic mayors to try and push back and develop some strategies for how to protect their states. Those 3 states with Dem governors are in a lot of trouble. You all want to take a look at what they're going to do, and if in fact other Democratic governors or other states are going to continue to work with them to develop strategies to push back. All right, that's it. Let's go in. Let's see what's happening. Let's start out with this cabinet situation. Once again, people who were supremely or are supremely, questionable, let's put it that way to be kind, in their capabilities and qualifications. We've seen the absolute misery on the face of Marco Rubio, unanimously put through. People are definitely regretting that decision. So, Spirit, the cabinet, as it relates to the cutbacks and the continued release of federal workers, taking over in the function of what DOGE is being instructed to do, is that going to cause increased tensions with Muskrat? Is he going to get pushed out? Ace of Pentacles, y'all, at the bottom of the deck with the sun right behind it. The clock is ticking. Spirit's been saying that for a while. This is not new. Spirit's been saying this is going to happen. It is slow. It is going to be step by step. It's not going to happen tomorrow because he's putting, F-47 is trying to put a brave face on it in terms of protecting his relationship for now with Muskrat. In other words, I'm not really trying to put a chain or a muzzle on you. I'm not really trying to push you out. I'm actually trying to protect you from all of these lawsuits that potentially, you can get in trouble for. So I'm going to get my people who are in a part of the government, so therefore it's not illegal for them to implement these cuts and these firings. So I'm basically looking out for you in doing this, in making this decision. However, Spirit, what is Elon Musk really feeling in relation to this? How's he going to respond in relation to this latest move by F-47? 10 of Swords crossed with the 8 of Cups. Absolutely not happy. Absolutely worried. Absolutely. Remember too, Musk and the 8 of Cups. Look, turning your back, like, okay, I guess this really isn't my time to shine. In other words, or my money, my power, my influence only goes so far, right? We also know that Muskrat has had a really rough week, you all. You heard about this latest rocket, the Starship that they launched. Fell apart. Not the first time that it's happened. Fell apart in the skies. They had to shut down 3, I think, airports in South Florida because of the debris that was just falling out of the sky. So they had to postpone some flights. There were flight interruptions, etc. Tesla stock tanking, right? Man's losing a bunch of money, even as he plans to gain more and more through his contracts, his billions in contracts with the government. But it's not going well. He knows it. He sees the writing on the wall, but also from the perspective of someone who does not work well with others. Neither one of them really do, F-47 or Muskrat. They don't work well with others. They really are, that, what do they call it? Malignant narcissists? Yeah. For entertainment purposes only. Got to get that in there, right? Not going well, you all. He's not going to take this well. 4 of Wands. He's going to start to question his the commitment that the real deal that he and that Muskrat and F-47 made back last summer when he decided to sign on and put all those millions of dollars on the line to help him get elected, whatever really happened with those voting machines for entertainment purposes only, and this Two of Cups, that it came reversed. And normally I don't read a lot of reversals, but let's do it in this case, because if you look at that as the relationship between the two of them, upright would be okay, we're good. The commitment is falling apart, right? Two of Cups reverse, not good at all. I think we are going to see, aside from the fact that these cabinet members don't have a clue and they've been charged with, continuing the forward momentum, and Muskrat continuing to be an advisor saying, here's what you need to do. But all of the data that's been coming out, we keep seeing lies after lies after lies. So the cabinet members are not going to be able to counter that. It's really a fiasco. And it's one that's very painful. The latest is so far 100,000 federal workers have been released. Like unemployment system already being strained to process. But it's a process that we have to go through. Seven of Pentacles. This is them trying to figure out how do we get a grip on this? How do we at least appear to continue to carry out the edicts of what F-47 has said, of what DOGE and Muskrat have said needs to be done? We need to appear that that's what we're doing. We're making these assessments. We're studying, we're determining who really needs to stay and who we can afford to let go to enforce these cuts. But we don't have a clue how to do it. Two of Swords. Don't have a clue. Blindfold on. Don't see how to do it. It is going to be an absolute train wreck. Will we see the dismantling of DOGE? Spirit, will we see the dismantling of DOGE over a period of time? Judgment. Pluto. Transformation. Awareness. This is not the way to go. This is not going to work. What we overpromised and will underdeliver. Unfortunately, by that time, there's also going to be so much displacement. And what we've been told in terms of once these departments are dismantled, we've already seen, nuclear security, bird flu, those, health agencies, etc. Once they know the damage that's been done, it's going to take a while to undo it. But we'll look more into that later on. For right now, this is the beginning of a couple of readings ago. Spirit gave me a vision of like the Jenga game, and you pull the one block out and everything falls. It's starting, you all. It's starting. It may not be that abrupt, but it's starting. All right, Ukraine. Let's move on to that. So this minerals deal, will it backfire, Spirit? First of all, no, I don't even have to ask. Spirit is saying it will get signed. It will get signed. There is going to be a deal that gets struck. But I'm trying to say it the way they're giving it to me. Putin is going to wind up making F-47 look like a complete and utter fool. Because they're not going... Ooh, something just jumped out. 8 of Cups. This whole bro thing, they're loving on each other right now. Putin's like, hey, U.S. is finally getting in alignment with us. All of that. He's going to turn he's going to do a F-47 on F-47. He's going to turn and absolutely make him look stupid. Tower. Woo! That deal is going to blow up. And the European Union, who we have seen step up in terms of intelligence, in terms of funding. Spirit, is the European Union going to stick by and have to step up at an even greater capacity? The Ten of Wands, it's going to strain them tremendously. It's going to strain them. And they know that. Their economies, not necessarily, nobody's like, doing the best ever. But they're going to do it. They're going to stick by him. King of Swords. They're going to stick by Zelensky. And so this deal, Three of Pentacles, they're working together. I'm going to tell you, the European Union, F-47 and others, as well as Putin, have definitely misread the situation with them. They're determined. They're not going to fall apart. And this over-reliance that F-47 thought that they had on the United States, yeah, maybe for a period of time it appeared that way, but not any longer. Ace of Pentacles. They are going to rise as a force. They will be three of the Empress with that three. That feels on the heels of that Three of Pentacles that we just saw with the Empress, threes. It feels like three particular countries within the European Union are going to be very, very pivotal in decisions going forward to help stand by and protect Zelensky. Remember, part of his whole Zelensky's deal when he came here was that we're not going to agree to something where on the back end of it, Ukraine has no security protection. There's nobody who will stand up on our behalf and help us if, in fact, once all of this is said and done and a peace deal is reached, and then, you know, Russia turns around and breaks the deal, like as if they ever would, right? I mean, they're not stupid. They understand what they're working with, what they're dealing with, and they want those securities. That's what these threes are coming about, and the Empress is coming about. There is a growing solidity is the word that I'm getting. Like, it's solid. The fact that they have had to come together, the European Union with Ukraine, they've had to come together. They've had to solidify their union outside of any guarantees from the U.S. That union it's almost as if Spirit, what I'm getting you all, Spirit is saying, because they had to fight for it, it's going to make it even, you know, when the chips were down, they will remember who was there for one another. As far as Trump or F-47, the world, wow. Putin's going to make him look so dumb, because even if they agree to that, even if everybody signs on to it and there is a peace agreement, at the end of the day, the U.S. gets pushed out from whatever benefits they thought they were going to have from that agreement. Those minerals and them being able to go in there and just take what they want and quote unquote get their money back from, that's part of, you know, what F-47's been saying, all this money the U.S. has given you, we deserve some payback for that. There's justice that comes, and it will not go according to plan. It's going to blow up in his face. He's going to be so done. Five of Cups. F-47 is going to be so outdone, because he really thinks at this point he has done so much to bend over backwards and appease Putin, you know, and align himself with Putin for whatever reasons. We got a lot of theories out there about what Putin must have on him to make him do that, but it is going to blow back on him spectacularly, is the word that I'm being given. All right, you all. And finally, I want to wrap up today with a look at these Democratic governors, in particular in Minnesota, Tim Walz, New York, Kathy Hochul, and Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. These electricity bills are about 25% tariff, I do believe, is what Ontario is saying they're going to stick to, the 25%. You want to talk 25%? That's what we are about to do. And they have issued, you know, apologies. They understand, everyone understands, this is not about the American people versus the Canadian people. This is horrific. Nobody wants to see this happen. It's like a falling out within a family. Like, we're neighbors. We've done this for decades and been there for one another. And unfortunately, this is where we are. Spirit, these Democratic governors, will they get support? What options do they have? How are they going to garner support? Maybe negotiate on their own with Canada to try and mitigate this damage. What will they do? I have the Page of Cups and the Five of Pentacles and the Two of Cups. this feels like they're going to try and perhaps strike some sort of an alliance or agreement or negotiations on behalf of the states, perhaps directly with Canada. Am I seeing that right, Spirit? Are these governors going to try and work directly? Six of Pentacles, give and take, negotiations, reasoning. What else can they do, right? Will they work out something? Two of Pentacles, partnership but slow. So Spirit, will Canada work with those states that are going to be severely impacted? And the governors of those states. There's a Page of Pentacles. They're going to slow roll it because ultimately, thank you, Spirit, ultimately, they're trying to prove a point to F-47. That, okay, fine, once this month is up for this, now he's delayed it another month. He did that before, and then here he comes again. And that was part of the reasoning we heard that Doug Ford said. Okay, fine, you backed off of it for another month. That's just not good enough. We're not going to keep doing this tit for tat. It's on, it's off, it's on, it's off. So that's what I think this Page of Pentacles is. They do genuinely feel for the United States and these states that are about to get hit. I think on Monday is when the tariffs are supposed to go into effect with the energy supplied to those 3 states. But they're not going to come completely off of it. Unfortunately, the people of those states are going to be paying some really higher prices for electricity, because their point is to make F-47 understand we're not going to play. If this is what you want to do, we're not going to play. Here comes justice again. We're not going to play. There's a deal that it needs to work on both ends. Yes, perhaps we are willing to step aside or put aside these tariffs on energy to the United States, but what assurances are we going to get in return? That's what's happening. Will F-47 back off long term? Will he be forced to back off long term? 8 of Wands, pressure mounting, because when these states start to get hit, the pressure is going to mount. Protests, maybe even more legal situations. 2 of Swords, it comes back out. Knight of Pentacles. They're going to pull, they're going to pull these states, if to the extent that they will resort, because of that justice card. I felt like it was something legal coming into it as well. Don't be surprised if the Department of Energy or something in the U.S., some department in the U.S. is targeted specifically. The heads of those departments are targeted for not stepping in and doing something on behalf of those states that are about to have to pay that penalty. Wheel of Fortune. Yes, that's what's going to happen. The blowback is going to happen within. Yes, they are going to try and negotiate with Canada. I think Canada's going to hold strong only because they're trying to prove that larger point and put that pressure in a larger sense on F-47 regarding these tariffs and back off, period. But in the meantime, their recourse, particularly these governors, Walz, Hochul, and Whitmer, is going to be to push back within government, whether it's whoever's heading up energy, etc. But they are going to fight back, and they're going to have to do it within the United States as well as on 2 fronts. That's why we saw that 2 of Swords. I think they're going to have to try to figure out how do we appeal to Canada. Like, look, you know us. None of this was our idea. Please don't make our people suffer for what he's sitting over there doing in D.C. and Mar-a-Lago. And that will be heard and that will be well received. But they are also going to be saying, on behalf of our people, U.S., that's not going to work. So expect even more lawsuits. We're going to look more at that Supreme Court in another reading, because we saw that little exchange on a hot mic with F-47 leaning over into Justice Roberts saying, good job, my dude. Thanks for looking out for me. Nice looking out. Did not go over well. Interesting energy around SCOTUS and what we're going to see from them. Will Amy Coney Barrett and Roberts perhaps, will they stay over in that, and side with that corner? Because we know Thomas, Alito, Gorsuch, and Kavanaugh, they'll go off the cliff for him. They need to. Spirit is saying, because for entertainment purposes only, there's way too much damage that could be done to them because of the payouts, the payoffs, the unethical behavior that we've already learned about. There's so much there. Remember, Kavanaugh got in because all of those allegations that came out during his confirmation hearings. So that's why they're willing to go over the cliff for F47. But Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett, that's going to be some interesting energy to keep our eyes on as we move forward, you all. Let's see what happens. Let's see if they can hold up. All right, that's what I got for the day. Please be careful out there. Continue to keep your chin up, those shoulders back, and breathe deep. This is growing the resistance to having and just sitting back and watching the United States be completely destroyed. It's not going to happen, you all. It's not going to happen. It's going to be a long slog, and it ain't going to tickle. Spirit has said that for a very long time. But hang in there. Stay strong, okay? I'll talk to you real soon, probably on Sunday. I'll come back on Sunday. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye.